Good morning. It is Thursday, August 8th, 2 days from my birthday. So if you want to give me a birthday present, you guys know I take tips, I take gifts, cash, Venmo, PayPal, whatever you want. But, hey, whatever it is. Where are we in the markets? The Qs are up 1.16. We had a good unemployment report. Good news is good news, and it's back to being good news. I'm going to give you the year-to-date Alpha Picks portfolio up to date because I found out that we got a couple of ratings downgrades and one rating upgrade on the Quant in the core portfolio. Why are the gains all getting wiped out in the afternoon? We'll kind of go over that. I said it yesterday. The market wants to go up, but negative catalysts keep coming in. We'll go over that. 31 trades when the market actually rebounds. Citigroup put that in. We'll go over DELL, MCI, SMCI, and NVDA. And we'll go over some earnings with Eli Lilly, which was, that was the call of the day. Whatever. We got Eli Lilly, Dutch Brothers. I think that one's an overreaction. Energy Transfer, which we've been talking about. Bumble just missed. And then Duolingo. We'll go over all that stuff. But let's talk about Alpha Picks, because what I wanted to show you with Alpha Picks was actually their returns. So we talk about this all the time with Alpha Picks, where you get $50 off, and I sign you up through my link tree. The link is down below, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. It's $449. You make 132%. That's their thing. But what I wanted to point out was just the year-to-date performance, because, hey, maybe it doesn't make sense to go back to, 2022. Year to date, and I looked at this, and if anybody's in Alpha Picks, and you can do it, you can go to Alpha Picks on Seeking Alpha. It's right here on your left and under investing groups. Just go to Alpha Picks, and then they have a performance tab, and you can go in and pick. Let's see. We'll just go in here and we'll pick. Let's see, performance right here. We'll go year to date because it'll be updated. It's 19% versus 9%. So, again, I'm going to point that in. It's up 19% versus 9%. Yesterday, it was 23%. So it was down a little bit yesterday. And that was because SMCI. SMCI is in that portfolio. It hurt everybody. In fact, we've got a couple of downgrades and upgrades. So yesterday from the core portfolio, and I've got my core portfolio here on the left, the core portfolio here in Seeking Alpha. There are a couple. Yesterday's big gainers was Shopify. We got Shopify, Exxon, Apple. They were the big gainers yesterday. Top losers, SMCI, DELL, NVIDIA. I do have DELL in this core portfolio. I don't have it in the core portfolio on Savvy Trader. It's a little bit of iffy. I just didn't want to put it in there. But we had one upgrade. Okay, one of the upgrades, Shopify. Shopify moved from hold to buy in the Quant. Okay, it's growth, A+. Valuation is a C. That was an F. Valuation is a C. They've started to turn things around. Now, does this mean that you buy it? I don't think so. Here we can look at Shopify over here. Shopify here, it gapped up. It gapped up. I'm not comfortable with the gap down below saying absolutely buy it when you didn't close above the 200-day on the 4-hour. It's just me. I mean, am I selling it? No. It's up, 1% today. But I'm going to wait a few days, see what happens, because you're just bumping up against the 50-day. But in the Quant, it did change. Another one that changed in the Quant is XLY. So XLY moved from a sell. It was a sell to a strong sell. Now, the part of this is because of the holdings. It's consumer discretionary. It's very, very weak. The consumer, we've talked about it, is very, very weak. Now, 36% of this, actually 46% of this, are three companies, Amazon, Tesla, and Home Depot. So 36% of this, 46% are three companies. So they're saying, hey, this one, probably not one you want to buy. Another one that moved from hold to sell is QQQM. Doesn't mean that QQQ went down there, but QQQM, we can go and look at the QQQ. QQQM has it's the same holdings as QQQ. It's just got a lower expense fee. And I do own QQQM. Now, the quant is automated. It's the momentum that's killing it. That's it. That's it. It's the NASDAQ 100. It's the momentum that's killing it. And that's it. So you've got, it's 100 names, 104 names, Apple, Microsoft. That's it. That's it. But, QQQM, that what moved from a hold to a buy. Now, all the gains were wiped out yesterday on the Qs. And what happened? Well, midday, there was a 10-year bond auction. We had a bunch of 30 years today, which could do the same thing. The last 2 days, you had a super strong open, and we're heading for a super strong open. But it all gets wiped out in the middle of the day. Now, before you go saying, well, the Fed has to cut rates, the Fed, be careful what you wish for. The Fed is in a lose-lose situation. I absolutely agree with it. If the Fed cuts rates aggressively right now, markets tank further because they risk resurgence of inflation. I don't think inflation's totally gone from the U.S. economy. Cutting U.S. rates will only make the yen carry trade unwind worse, likely sending the NASDAQ into bear market territory. That's 20% down. If the Fed doesn't cut rates now, recession fears will continue to mount. No rate cuts means more worry about the rising unemployment, which is now at a 3-year high. We got great numbers this morning. It's great numbers this morning. The Fed must pick between market and inflation instability or a potential recession. And even if they pick the right former, we may still wind up in a recession. It's going to be a bumpy road. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that assessment. On the Qs, you're under the 200-day. You haven't gotten above, you haven't closed above that 9-day, so you don't have confirmation. You have a MACD that's still in free fall. Yes, you're up 1.46, but we haven't been able to hold those gains through it. So I said it yesterday, the market wants to go up, but negative catalysts keep pulling it down. I can't stay up. The market can't stay up. The valuation is making investors nervous. Japan isn't done. Okay? Here, we can look at this. Where's the Japan? JP Morgan strategist says 75% of the global carry trade has been removed. And what do you have? You have 3 engulfing daily candles across the board with SPY, QQQ, and IWM. We are not done going down. I do think that we trade very sideways and bumpy. One thing that you want to keep a look at is the VIX. The VIX, we've been talking about the VIX for a while. The VIX is down 6%. It's at 25. Until that gets below 20, I think we start to see these volatile up and downs midday. And until that Japan trade carries over, then it's going to be a bumpy ride. That's just it. And again, this Japan trade, it's 75% trades have been removed. That's it. That's it. And the jobs report, we talked about it. The jobs report is softer than expected. There was an expectation of 241. It came 241,000 claims came in at 233. So it's still good. It's still good. But I do think you're in for a bumpy ride. So let's start going over stuff. One of the things that I'd like you to read is when to sell stocks. I'll include this in the newsletter today, a link to it. We wrote this back on February when stocks were at all-time highs. Where do you want to sell? And it's about 10, 15 reasons you want to sell a stock. It's a very simple and real-time look at, hey, at this point, maybe you wanted to sell stocks. Maybe you wanted to sell these particular stocks, and here's the reason. There's MACD crossdowns. There is, bearish territory, XOM right there. The time to sell RSI. You can look at 52-week all-time highs. You can sell at. Time to sell news catalysts. I will go over Sedge. Button hooks. You can look at button hooks. And then My Weekly Stock, he puts in his stuff. So again, it's a good article to read. It's a good time to look at it. I think it's perfectly fine. Now, what did I do yesterday? I bought CrowdStrike. Now, we talked about it yesterday, how I think it was, I forget the brokerage that came out, but they said the downside's limited. The reason I bought CrowdStrike is it closed at 230 here in pre-market. It's trading at 236. I think I bought it like 234 to 236. I don't know the exact price. two small lots, not very big, but two small lots, in order to dollar cost average that $300 buy. Now, I'm already in CrowdStrike, and I'm very low price. So I'm fine buying a little bit more, just trying to do it. Now, the danger is you just did have a death cross, that 50-day crossing under the 200. That's fine. In my mind, that is catalyst related. It's not valuation created. It's just a catalyst related. If you shut down half the world, your stock's going to go down. That's just the point. But if the bottom comes in and you're down 30% and then you start to retrace this, now we're going to find out on August 28th, did their contracts die? I don't know, but I'm okay chancing it. What I did was I took some gains in my dad's account from Fortinet because they popped yesterday. I sold here at 70. Here in the pre-market, we are up to, I think it's 71, 72, somewhere, $70.26. I sold at 70. Why did I sell at 70? Well, here it is. It's just a weekly candlestick. And I said, there's a true range here that goes all the way back to August of 2021. And do I think it's going to break through this? Well, if we break through this, we've got a lot to go. But I just don't think that it's going to break through this. I think I can buy it lower if he wants. I sold 50% of that position and I put that into CrowdStrike. Well, I should say I bought portions of that in CrowdStrike. So I knew exactly what I was going to do. The weekend, I'd said, hey, Fortinet's reporting. CrowdStrike I want to get more into because I'm down on that $300 buy. I don't think it's going to get to that $300 again anytime soon. So I thought it was a good time to do that. So that's the move that I made yesterday. I unwinded a bunch of other consumer products that I owned, Ulta and other stuff. I made those moves because I want to rebalance during this time. I do think that we see a sideways trade until the Fed cuts in September, and we might even see a sideways trade until October. But until then, I'm fine rebalancing, getting cash, making sure that I have stuff to actually deploy. And I think NVIDIA is screaming buy. I mean, we'll go into NVIDIA right now. Let's see. Well, we're going to go into SMCI first, okay? SMCI, Supermicro, I'm buying the dip. I read this article by Bashar Issa. I agree with him. But I don't want to buy the dip right now. I want to buy the dip into strength, not weakness. So when you look at SMCI, it's still weak. It's down, 0.5% in a market that's up. It's still weak. Those margins are gonna get killed. So I'm taking profits on my long-term brokerage account where I'm up over 100% in this stock. That's good. But I'll start adding to it in my retirement account where I already have huge losses. I have 20-30% losses on this. Am I okay holding it? Yeah, I still think it's a good long-term bet, and I'll start adding to it. I just don't think that this company, you throw this company out. I think those margins indicate that they're in a pricing war with Dell, and I think that's the next buy. Right here, Supermicro's strong server demand makes Citi expect positive comments from Dell, and Dell is getting tanked at 87. So I believe the Citibank, you can read this article, why they say that Dell is a buy based on SMCI earnings, and I believe that. And then you've got NVIDIA. NVIDIA, Rosenblatt reiterates $200 price target on NVIDIA. Usually, and I agree with this, I don't put much weight into the analyst upgrades, but this specific analyst is the number 2 ranked analyst on Wall Street. I'd say that means something. He just reiterated a $200 price target on NVIDIA, and it's at 101. If you can get this below 100, I'm not saying it can't go down to 60, but I am saying that if you've got 200 in this stock, they're going to focus on the Blackwell delay, but if they destroy earnings on August 28th and they come up to 150, I'm okay buying at 100, even if it goes down to 60. This stock has traditionally been a super mover, and it's just one of those stocks. Weekly, we're not done resetting. It's not done resetting. I'm okay just buying under 100. Am I going to go in, say I want to put $10,000 into this. I'm not putting $10,000 into it right now. I'm buying $1,000 of it. I'm going to wait for the algorithm to tell me to get in. And then maybe if I've got $5,000 left of the position that I want to buy, I'll put $5,000 in. So I just don't believe that this one, you throw this one out. I think it's fine. And again, time frame matters and position size matters. Let's see. We went over. Supermicro indicates that the NVIDIA's Blackwell may get delayed. That's fine. I mean, the stuff's going to come. Citigroup spotlights 33 stocks on their watch list, post pullback shopping list. 33 names. I like a lot of these. AppLovin, they just reported yesterday. They're down. Let's see. They went down. They went down about 2%. Looks like pre-market. I don't exactly know what it is. But Analog Devices, Airbnb. I wouldn't do Airbnb. Personally, I stay in hotels, not Airbnb. I like Airbnb, but I use them sparingly. Amazon, I think it's just a buy, a screaming buy at 160s. AMD, I think you're fine in AMD. I own AMD. Coinbase, I think you're playing Bitcoin there. DocuSign, I got rid of. Dell, I think is a great one. Devon, we'll go over in a little bit. I think that one's great. Let's see. Home Depot, I think you're betting on the consumer there. I own that through XLY. Lam Research, I think that one's going to do fine. MongoDB, Marvel, Snowflake, Teradyne, Target, Zscaler. I think these are 33 good names that you can look at. Take your pick, whatever you want. Costco. Costco is going to scan membership cards at store entrances to determine non-members. I'm a non-member. I may get caught at Costco at some point. Maybe get forced to buy a thing. It's up 1%. This one, surprisingly, through this downturn has held up. And you can see, algorithm hasn't won you in the past 3 times. Well, it's gotten you in at 831. You're at 819 right now. The MACD is down there. Have you completely reset? This hype around the membership raise increase was enormous. So you still haven't reset on the weekly. Am I buying here? I don't know. I mean, again, it's held up so strong. It's 51 times earnings. It's just a little bit expensive. But I don't know. I mean, again, if they're going to do what Netflix did with their passwords, where they went from 300 to 600, might not be a bad deal. Where they actually increase the amount of memberships that they get. Maybe they increase their memberships while raising the price. That would be enormous, and that would push the stock up. So, Devon Energy, which I took out of the core portfolio, they just raised and they put a special dividend of 22 cents in there. So 44 cents, 22 cents per share, and a variable dividend of 22 cents per share. So they just upped it. Devon is one of those that, hey, under $50, you can buy it under 50 and it should pop to 50. This one has been a sideways trade that's been on the downside. But is it going to pop back up? They just had their earnings. So you're going to have to wait for an energy rebound for this one to come back up. But you can see it's made its way. I mean, this one goes all the way back to March 2023. So just over a year and a half ago, you've had one chance to sell it over 50. You had 2 chances to sell it over 50. Is this going to be the 3rd time to sell it over 50? I've played in those spaces. I've gotten rid of it. I don't own it in my current portfolio. I thought it was interesting that they put out a dividend. Now, the algorithm doesn't have you in, I don't think. No, it got you out before this big drop. At 47, it got you in, but it got you right out. So I think it's interesting. MACD super low. Earnings just came out. They were decent. Nothing great. It's up like 1-2% somewhere. Yeah, 1% in the pre-market. I thought it was okay. Meta. Do you want to buy the dip on Meta? Masterstroke strategy to win the AI or along NVIDIA? I think Meta is a screaming buy under 500. They print money. They will benefit from the election year. All those billions of dollars that Trump and Harris are raising, they're going to go to Meta. I mean, make no mistake, it's going to go to Meta. So buying it under 500, I think is perfectly fine. You get back, you might get 10% back when it pops to 550. Now, they have already had their earnings, and you can see it's bullish on the earnings. It had that huge pop, and then it pulled back. And we saw that big Monday drop. So I think it's interesting. I just think, again, it's interesting. Eli Lilly, this was, the best thing that this was clear money. I mean, Eli Lilly, it went crazy. And just bear with me. bear with me. All you douchebags commenting that I don't know the difference between Mounjaro, and Ozempic and Wegovy. It's GLP-1. Okay? I'm not a biopharmacist. I'm not a doctor. I will never take these drugs. I don't have any plans to take these drugs. But the drugs are getting approved for everything. You get a paper cut, Mounjaro. You get you stub your toe, Ozempic. You get anything. It's GLP-1. And Eli Lilly has the jump on this. They went from making $980 million in the previous fiscal year to $3 billion just on this drug. And their pipeline's getting stronger. It's up at 875. Okay? Do we have a buy in the algorithm? No. You missed this bump if you just didn't buy it under 900. Let's see. Where the algorithm got you in. Yeah, it did. It got you in at 803. Aren't you happy? Because you're up about 10% now. So the algorithm got you in there. The algorithm makes you 85%. You make 135% if you just buy. Again, if you're buying on these downstrokes, it helps. Doesn't feel comfortable sometimes. You want them to wait for the confirmation. Unfortunately, the confirmation came after the earnings. That's where the catalysts come into play. If you think that, the MACD has reset, I mean, again, I said it was just... The MACD is still super high on this freaking weekly, and it hasn't reset. But with a company that's doing that kind of thing, it's crazy. It just jumped. I mean, again, the stock jumped. It's up 13%. One that is down is Dutch Brothers at 23%. It was a slight miss on revenue guidance that caused it to go down 23%. Now, mind you, this company it's not financially a Starbucks. It's not financially an Eli Lilly. It is not financially in a great place. So that drop brings it back down here to where it was in May. So you popped all the way back up to 43. You get the chance to buy it when you're back in May. Now, is it a good buy? Well, I think you got to wait 3 days for it to shake out. But I think when you see the gap that is presented today, if you see it start to go into that gap, I think you can add to it. Now, this isn't for somebody who drinks decaf at home like me. This is for somebody who's going to Dutch Brothers. If you go there and you buy coffee every day and you see the line start forming, and again, it's just a miss, a slight miss on their guidance. Maybe the consumer is stronger. Maybe Dutch Brothers has a more better, more loyal base. Again, it's just for those people who go there. Now, Energy Transfer, we've been talking about this since the CEO bought, $20 billion worth at like 12 or 13. They killed it. They're up 3%. Energy Transfer's stock chart, again, the yield on this one is phenomenal. They pay out a dividend. Let's see what the forward dividend is. So we'll go to Energy Transfer so we can see. It's a strong buy in the Quant. It's up 3.23%. The yield on this one, the forward yield, 8.19%. And look at that chart. Over 1 year, just the price appreciation, you're up 20%. Year to date, in an energy sector that's down, you're up 13%. I'm sorry, it's up. This one's up 13%. I think the energy sector is still up. I probably just exaggerated that one. But this is a great stock with a great yield. At 1650 is the 52-week high. Let's go and look at the Wall Street analysts. Wall Street analysts, there's 17 that actually cover it. That's a decent amount. 10 say a strong buy. Their average price target, 1537. Now you're trading right now, or I'm sorry, 1937. You're trading at 1592. At 1592. It's again, you have to make sure you have some energy exposure. I have Occidental Petroleum, I have Exxon, I have several others that I have in my portfolio. I do have it. Warner Brothers Discovery fell 9%. Just get Netflix. If you're in Paramount, if you're in Warner Brothers, just get Netflix. Netflix is the winner. Disney will be a winner. They announced that, again, once this one shakes out and the park entrance, the park stuff's going to come back. This is a great American company. They're going to come back. They're going to pay $5 billion more for Hulu. It has to shake out. But this one will come back. You can't tell me that people are going to stay away from Disney parks. That's not going to happen. Now, Bumble, on the other hand, this stock, 35% slashing 2024 revenue. This is getting killed. This isn't making money. Get out of it. Again, this one's not great. Not great whatsoever. So let's see. Social request. Trey asks, what is your outlook on NVIDIA? Is it a good time to buy? And do you think it is good or a bad idea to have over 50% of my portfolio in big tech? Also, love your podcast listening. Thanks, Trey. Here's the thing. NVIDIA, I think, is I think it's a buy under 100. Do I think it could get down to 80? Yes. Do I think anything about the Blackwell delay is going to hurt it? Yes. But do I think 2 years from now that you're hurting an NVIDIA? I don't think so. The valuation makes sense. Again, they have the Blackwell and everything in NVIDIA. They have a backlog of orders. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody from Google doesn't come out and say, you can see this guy yesterday. Stock price likely peaked even if Fed rates come. What you have to worry about chips is that Google, Amazon, and others have ordered enough and that they can't monetize AI and that they stop ordering NVIDIA chips. That's what you have to worry about. Now, NVIDIA has gotten to this where they actually are starting to charge for software. So it's a reoccurring revenue model. So it's not just, hey, you're going to buy our chips. You're going to buy our software because you bought our chips. And we're going to lock you in and we're going to have a reoccurring revenue model. That's what you get with NVIDIA. I think that what's happened here is it ran up. People don't believe the hype. People are seeing that Google and Amazon and Microsoft, they're all getting dinged because of their capital spend. Well, what's a CTO going to do when the stock, CEO is going to say, you know what? And they, mind you, they say this. Our stock price just got hit on earnings. We had a good quarter, but it's because of our capital spend. Let's spend less next quarter. Let's put off those chips. Google, we've got enough. We've got enough memory power to actually include Gemini into our mix. We've got plenty. Let's do that. If that's the case, NVIDIA will go down. So you're betting on that. What do I think of 50% of your portfolio in big tech? I have it, but don't follow a douche on the internet. I have a ton in technology. It depends on your outlook. It depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on which tech companies that you have. I mean, again, I'm not going to comment on your own personal portfolio because I don't know any of that for you. For me, I feel very comfortable. I sleep at night. That's fine. I may lose 30, 40% in a downturn. I've always come back. It's always been about rebalancing into what will happen. So that's it. That's it. My reaction to anybody saying that I don't know GLP-1 drugs, one manufacturer from the other, if you bought Lilly, I made you money. Doesn't matter what I said. This is the picture that I'll show you. That's it. That's it. I mean, that's the entire picture. And again, the core portfolio, if you want to follow the core portfolio, this isn't anything strategic. I wouldn't manage a portfolio this way. But it's 100 shares of each stock that's in the core portfolio. There's 35 positions. Look at the performance over QQQ. Okay? Year to date, the core portfolio is up 22%. NASDAQ's up 6.17. Oh, you may say, well, SPY is up more. The S&P is up more than the Qs because the Qs have had this huge pullback. Well, let's go look at SPY. If I can pull this down here on this computer. Let's go look at SPY. SPY here. Wah, wah, wah. You can look at SPY. SPY's year-to-date performance. It's up 9% versus 22% on the core portfolio. And the core portfolio you can follow for free. So it is what it is. Again, Trey, I don't know your risk tolerance. I don't know that. If you feel comfortable with it, have at it. I always, I get dinged by financial analysts because I don't do bonds. I get dinged by financial analysts because I had Bitcoin. I get dinged by financial analysts because I'm too heavy in Apple. Hey, I quit working at 48 years old. And it wasn't because I had a huge salary. I just was, good at making sure that I let my winners run. That's it. And I position sized so that the winners would run and outperform. That's just it. So let's talk about scans. The first thing that I do on YouTube Live is go over scans. And I use the 4-hour algorithm to find entries into the stocks. Now, Netflix, great. 620. It's at 622. Do you want to buy it? I think it's a $700 stock. I think you'll get back up to 700. They got the NFL. The MACD reset. Has the MACD on the weekly reset? It's still a little bit stretched. Still a little bit stretched. Just buy it. In my mind, you just buy it. That's one of those that you just buy. Palantir, after their earnings, they were up, I think, 10% or something. It's huge. It's just been enormous. Again, you've got a $25 floor. So if you've got that $25 support level and you buy at 27, I think you go to 30. It's up 3%. The buy is at 27.47. I think you're fine. You know, again, this is the core portfolio. I think Palantir has proven, even though the valuation is crazy, I think they've proven that they can pop to 30. And I think with that particular stock, you've proven it. Now, Simon Property Group. This is in the core portfolio. I don't talk about it much. It was up huge yesterday. It was up enormous yesterday. It had a nice big candle yesterday. 155 is the buy-in. Am I buying here? That's a little bit strong for Simon Property Group in my mind. Again, if the consumer's weak, Simon Property Group probably will get hit a little bit. I just don't like it. GLB, one that is a alpha pick, and I like Royal Caribbean, RCL. Royal Caribbean is one that, you know, somebody hasn't told the consumer of Royal Caribbean that you know, the consumer's weak. 149. 149 is the buy. Now, has it gone on a huge run? Yes. Yeah, I would say that 135 is providing you support. That's what I would say. And that's the previous high back here in January 2020, right before the pandemic. They have a ton more debt. So it's a different company than before that. Trading Desk, they report after the bell today. Trading Desk, I love. They insert advertising into streaming video. I love this company. Now, the valuation, crazy. Family friend used to be the CFO of this company. It's under its 200-day. You have confirmation over that, 84.92. The 50-day is moving negative. That's the one thing I would be worried about, is when the 50-day starts moving negative, it hasn't been good for this stock. But, you know, here at 84, I'd say when you get to rate cuts and you get to things like, it's going to move back up. The valuation is a little bit nuts, but you got to believe in the stock. And now on a weekly basis, this one hasn't reset totally. It's a little bit closer. RSI and no man's land at 47. You got some leveraged ETFs. One of them's on the downside of AMD. I don't think you short any of these chip names. I think it's a good thing if you want to play it a little bit, but I don't think it's an investment. I think it's a trade. Now, AMDS has run. This is short. AMDS, here at 11, the algorithm got you in. If you want any of this algorithm stuff, go to my link tree, linktr.ee. The top pick is Trendspider. You basically sign up. It's under, it's $53 a month for that. $53 a month. You get my algorithm, which takes emotions out of the trade. And you can take a look. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? What do you want? Qualcomm. Great example. Qualcomm. Big pullback. Did you want to buy it? You haven't seen it above the 9-day. I haven't seen it above the 9-day. You didn't want to buy it. The algorithm doesn't have you in. But the MACD is reset. The RSI is way oversold. So at some point, it makes sense to buy that dip. When? Maybe when the algorithm gets you in. That's what I'm waiting for with NVIDIA. It's back down under 100. This was over 100 when the market opened. So here you go. This has been great. I mean, again, you want to buy when the algorithm tells you, because that's a proven fact that it is a bullish signal. Does it always win? No, doesn't always win. It loses sometimes. But when you get Trendspider, you have the ability to do that stuff. So say I would take a vacation. Now, the second tool that I sell is Seeking Alpha Premium. And that's the quant stuff. And that I like because I'm not great at fundamentals and I can read the stock and I can say, hey, it's too expensive or whatever. But yeah, again, it is what it is. And the third one is just Alpha Picks. That's it. I mean, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not monetizing a ton of stuff. The newsletter is free. Go and sign up for the newsletter. That's free. So if you don't want to spend it on the tools, just sign up for the newsletter. You can get all the scans at the end of the day. I put it in the newsletter every day. I put the newsletter is outlined where I put my thoughts on the macro market. I put the sales in. Then I put the links to the podcast. And then I do every note that I read on the air. I put in with some charts. And that's it. And then at the end, I put in all the scans. And that's it. So, that's the newsletter. It's free. You can just read it for 5 minutes a day. You don't have to listen to me go off for 35 minutes. So do what you want. I will be back tomorrow. I'm hoping Trading Desk is a big one. I'm on Spaces at 3 o'clock. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll talk to you later. See you, bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound.